Hello and welcome back to Tennis Asia TV. I'm joined again by Leah, who's in Metro Manila. I'm in Seoul, and we're just here to reflect on what was a pretty remarkable US Open main draw debut for Alex Eala, of course, who is from the Philippines. And she faced the 14th seed Clara Tauson, and it ended up being, well, way more dramatic and maybe more exciting than we could ever have imagined.
Right.
And of course, we talked before the match about, or even actually earlier before the hardcourt season, about her expectations, and we thought it'd be good if she can win a few matches and maybe win the first slam match. But of course, the preparation wasn't ideal. She had to not play many matches because of an injury, a shoulder injury. And so we were worried about her prospects here, not having that preparation. But
Right.
as it turned out, Ayala had an amazing turnaround, having been up a set. She lost the second set, but then was down 1-5 in that final set, and then has actually come back to win the match in incredible fashion. We did know, or we did expect, that there would be many Filipino fans in attendance, and wow, certainly they did come out to back her. And yeah, I mean, how do you feel? I mean, how can you express your emotions after that match?
I mean, initially, I guess it was because it was so late, and my nerves were so fried already because it was a long match, and then there were so many ups and downs. So it didn't immediately sink in, but it was her reaction, like how much it meant to her, that really reminded me, like, yes, she is making history for our country at least. Of course, not necessarily, she's not necessarily breaking new ground in terms of tennis overall, but in terms of tennis for the Philippines, it's a huge deal for us to have the first ever player to win a major main draw match in singles, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah, that
first
was
first in the
incredible.
Open era, right?
Yes, first in the open era, yes. So it was really incredible, especially coming from a country that doesn't really produce a lot of tennis players. So,
Yeah, and I mean, I think that is obviously why she was, so excited to win that match. Yeah, making history. It's also her first slam match that she's won, but also, I mean, just for the fact that she was surrounded by all those Filipino fans who were making
mhm.
incredible noise in the stadium, that it surprised me a little bit. Do you think that affected the outcome of the match? The support?
I mean, yes, I would say on both sides, it definitely affected both Clara and both Alex. So even from the very beginning, Clara was obviously very annoyed at the noise, and they were cheering during the point. So I understand why she was frustrated. But also on the side of Alex, especially when she was down 1-5 in the third set, I think she really drew from the energy of the people. Like when she held serve to get it to 2-5, she was doing that. She was asking the crowd to pull her up more. So I think definitely the the crowd played a part in this match. I think it would be disingenuous not to say that, they didn't.
Yeah, so Clara as well. I mean, obviously she's had a very good season,
Mhm.
and especially having made the semis in Canada and in Montreal, and beating Iga
Right.
and Madison Keys, two of the Slam champions of this year. That was a why we were expecting this could be, perhaps an unwinnable match,
Right.
maybe for Ayala. Maybe Towson would come out and play really well. But yeah, I think you mentioned, yeah, probably the crowd definitely, well, probably definitely right, it affected her. But she's only 22 years of age. She's not that old, and
That's
probably
true.
she's not used to having face I don't know, necessarily hostile crowd, but a crowd that was definitely against her and or so much for the opponent that it
Mm.
was probably to an extent that she wouldn't be used to. Um, yeah, perhaps that would had an effect on her. But let's go back to the beginning then, because obviously you mentioned even from the beginning that it was affecting her. Obviously, the first set, Eala won 6-3, and seems like she did very well to start off because she didn't get broken,
Yes.
and actually she broke Tauson's serve twice. How did the first set go?
So definitely Alex was playing really well, both on return and on her serve. So she was exerting a lot of pressure from the baseline. Especially I think Clara's wasn't serving that many first serves in. So whenever she had a second serve look, obviously we know her. She returns very aggressively. And at the same time, she also took care of her own serve. Like she was getting a lot of first serves in and was able to stave off, I think, the only break point that she faced from Clara. So overall, I think it was a mixture of her really playing well and Clara still not finding her range. She made a lot of unforced errors in the first set, I believe. Of course, I'm sure that's also caused by the ball that Alex was giving her, especially on return, right? But yeah, I would say that like Alex played really well, like almost the way she needed to play to be able to win this match.
And then, of course, in the second set, it seemed like maybe there was a bit of a dip, or I
Mm.
mean, certainly the score line of that set was 6-2 to Towson, and this time Eala lost her serve three times,
Mm.
although she broke Towson once. I mean, yeah, in the end, it seemed a much more balanced in favor of Towson. Um, was that a case of Eala's level dipping, or was it more about Towson working out what to do?
I think both. So the second set started like Clara immediately responded. She was able to extend the rallies long enough. So she wasn't the one making the mistake. It actually put a lot of pressure on Alex to keep on returning the ball back in uncomfortable positions. So she broke the very first game in the second set. And at the same time, I think she was returning better. Like she sort of figured out Alex's serve and started returning way inside the baseline. So I think we saw this as well with the Krejcikova match in Wimbledon, right? Like in the second set, Barbara was able to figure out how to return against Alex and cause her a lot of problems. And at the same time, I did feel like there was a dip from
Mm-hmm.
Alex, and I feel it might really be because she hasn't played a lot of matches in the last few weeks, and energy management, match management is such a big thing in winning. I feel like she did have like not necessarily a level dip, but an energy dip. Definitely was not serving as well as she was in the first set. She wasn't getting as much first serves in, so therefore Clara was able to punish her second serves. But not sure also if that has still something to do with the shoulder. It's obviously still there's still something there. She had like a patch
Mm-hmm.
on her left shoulder, so not sure if that's more of a lack of match play or there was something physical bothering her.
Right, and then obviously going into the final set, um, you're hoping maybe Yala's going to bounce back, but it seems like it started to go even more the other way towards
Yeah,
Towson. And of course, eventually, after being broken twice, Towson found herself up leading 5-1, just
right.
a game away from taking the match. Um, but somehow Iala managed to fight back
Mhm.
and eventually got those breaks back and took it to a tiebreak. And what a tiebreak it was as well. So that final set, um, Yeah, what was it that made the difference for Ayala to come back? Because and were you thinking, when Towson went up those breaks, that it's going to be like the Krejcikova match, or is it going to be like, the match against Iga in Madrid, the second match where
Mm,
Ayala was up and eventually, Iga came back and was quite convincing in the end. So,
right.
what were you
Yeah,
thinking?
I honestly thought that there was no way she was gonna come back from being down 1-5, right? But I think there are probably two factors, I would say. One was definitely, we know that Alex is a fighter. She will, even though she's, not maybe not feeling the best energy, not having the most intensity, her level has dipped, that she would still fight until the end. And at the same time, I think the crowd lifted her as well. She did hold serve to make it to 2-5. And after that, she was like, sort of asking the crowd to give her more energy, and I think that gave her momentum to break Clara, and it became 3-5. And then when Clara was going to serve for the match a second time, that's when I think the crucial element really happened, when she had a video review challenge on one of
Mm,
the net volleys that Alex hit, and she wouldn't let it go, even though the
right.
umpire actually ruled the first time, and then she requested a second look at it, and the umpire also gave in and let her see the replay again a second time, and she just was not um she didn't let it go, and I felt like it derailed her
Yeah.
focus, and Alex took advantage of that.
So that this was actually when Towson was serving. Was she serving for the
Y-
match again?
yes,
It was
a,
at
a
five
second
four.
time, yes.
5-4, right? And then
Right.
Ayala won the point with a
Yes.
volley at the net.
Yes.
I think it was that made it 15-40, right?
Correct.
So she
Yes.
would have two break points to break back, and then yeah, obviously a very crucial moment. But so maybe it's understandable why Towson was feeling so
Yes,
agitated and
definitely.
but and I just saw the footage of that. I mean, you could hear the crowd was incredibly loud. When I mean, understandably, they're getting so excited that Alice is about to come back here. But yeah, I mean, they did the video review, and it was just Iala was just on the right side of the net,
Right.
right? So yeah, you can't debate it really. So, um, but I mean that was interesting actually because apparently, if you look at the replay, like part of the outer rim of the bracket is actually slightly across
Mm.
slightly across the net, but apparently it doesn't matter. It's to do with the face, where the strings are. If
Right.
that's behind, which is where she made contact with the ball,
Oh,
that's
interesting.
actually behind or in line with the net,
Right.
then it's a legal shot. So yeah, it was
Right.
fine. Um, so the things you learn, you don't know.
Right, right. That's true. I mean, honestly, I felt like if Clara had, even if she felt wrong, maybe let's say the challenge, she was actually right, for example, but of course she wasn't. But if she had taken a pause, she could have remembered that she has broken Alex so many times already in the second and third set. So there was nothing, even if she did get broken, let's say it became 5-all, there was nothing to stop her from breaking again and making it 6-5 for on her own terms, right? So I felt like she kind of, you know, got into her own way. And Alex was just, she took advantage of the momentum and just, but of
Yeah,
course, Clara did well to get it to a tie break. So she was able to recover and give us
right.
an amazing tiebreak, which was really, there were at that level more equal terms already, and it was really about the tennis, not necessarily about the drama surrounding whatever.
Yeah,
by
right.
that
So just
point.
before the tiebreak as well, though, because it was she got it back to 6-all, sorry,
Yes,
5-all, and then Ayala was leading 6-5. Yeah,
right.
so Towson did well to bring it
Yes,
to
yes, right.
um is that right? Yeah, to bring it
Yes, to bring it to a
to a
tiebreak.
tiebreak, and then did there was a match point though as well, wasn't there? For
Yes,
Ayala, is that
I
point?
think there was
But
a
yeah,
match point on her.
um,
But Clara was serving well, I think, during that game to so she was able to stave it off.
yeah, but yeah, goes into the tiebreak. Ayala ends up winning it 13-11. I mean, how
Yes.
was that experience for you?
It was nerve wracking, especially it was what 4:30 a.m. or something. So I remember Alex went up. I think 8-4 or something like that, and then it was gonna be on two serves on her for her, like on her own serve, but she got but in general, I think Clara was able to get it to 8-all. I think is what happened. So it was like the anxiety and it made me
Right.
feel maybe remember the Eastbourne match where she also went into a tiebreak against Maya Joint and she also had like several match points.
Hmm.
Um yes, so the tiebreak was
Yeah, I've
crazy.
got it here because Ayala was leading 8-4, right?
There we
At one
go,
point.
yes.
Yeah. And of course, if it was just a normal tiebreak to 7, she would have won at 7-4. But then no, yeah, Towson comes back to 8-all. But then, Ayala does have her first at match point of the tiebreak
Right.
9-8. But she actually took her to win it on the fourth match point in that tiebreak.
I think it
Uh,
was the fifth actually. Oh, sorry, yes, fourth in the tiebreak, but fifth overall.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So,
yeah, I think she played definitely braver than she played in the Eastbourne final. I remember I think we discussed this also that she um at when she had match points she was a bit playing it safe, but
mhm.
this time she was really going after it, creating more match points for her. So I think she did learn from that experience and did better this time around.
And one of the things you pointed out before this match when we were previewing it, you were saying that one of the advantages Iala has over Towson is her speed of movement, her agility. Towson's not as
Yes.
quick in that respect. Do you think that's actually maybe partly what made a difference towards the end of the match? Because I feel like just the way that Alice, she when she's in the zone like that, she's trying to play the ball, take it quite early and try and be aggressive like that. And I think even on that, I think actually on the match point that she won, it was like she kind of just went for that forehand. It was deep. It wasn't,
Right.
particularly just kind of slightly back in behind her, and obviously that brought the error from Towson. And yeah, how did you feel about that aspect of her game? Do you think that made a difference?
I think not necessarily her movement or her agility. It was more her willingness and commitment to be aggressive
Right.
in every single shot during that tiebreak. Which of course made Clara be on the defensive. Whereas for most of the fifth set, she was actually the one forward more inside the baseline, and because of
Mm-hmm.
Alex's aggressive shots in the tiebreak, yeah, she was able to push her back and then eventually draw the error from Clara.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's been a theme when Yala's in good form and when she's feeling it. I mean, saw it in her run in Miami. That also like you know she's just very aggressive and wanting to kind of almost overwhelm her opponents like that. Just how the energy that she's got, and she doesn't
Mm,
give up, right? So she kept going, and I think we saw some of that as well. I remember in Miami, even in the match she lost to Pagula, and, she was
right.
very much fighting hard, but this time she managed to get the result, and it's an historic result for her, for the Philippines. and I'm sure you. I mean, it must be being talked about a lot on media, on news, on
Yes.
sports channels. You must be.
Yes. Well, I haven't. I don't really watch local TV, but definitely around my circle, I've seen people post it a lot, and especially one clip. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the clip that I was gonna say, but it actually has to do with that volley net winner.
Mm,
Because right after she hit it, she like went and looked at her box and she mouthed like a curse phrase
yes, a
in
swear word, right?
Filipino, but she said it in like a very, like what the f kind of way. It's not
Right.
any it's not it wasn't insulting anyone. I think Filipinos really latched on to that clip because it's such a Filipino thing to
Yeah.
just be, they were saying that the word was also in a grand slam debut or something like that. I think it really felt for Filipinos that they had the culture at least was in a way, in a bad way, of course. I mean, it's a profanity, but it's something funny, very Filipino. I don't know if it
Yeah.
comes across to other people, but for
Well,
Filipinos it definitely came across.
yeah, maybe not going to repeat the word, but I think
No, of
people,
course
if you want to
not.
look up what happened, you can probably find out the information.
It's
Um,
there. I think Tennis Channel posted it. U.S. Open. I think they probably don't know what it is. That's
yeah,
why.
yeah, yeah. Great moment all round for her, and it's going to be, yeah, obviously next match. She's going to be playing an unseeded player. So we still have to find out who that's going to be. It's either going to be Buksha or the qualifier Claire Liu, who's actually been come through qualies very well. She's an American, but she's actually been out for a while, right? I think with injuries and is coming back. So yeah, it could be another tricky one, but we'll have to wait and see who that's going to be. I think Buksha's more of a doubles player, actually, right? I mean, she
Mm.
plays a lot of doubles as well. So in theory, it could be an easier match for Eala, but I think if she's playing an American, that's can have its own problems. So yeah, yeah, thanks for that, Leah. That was really nice for you to go through the match with me, and hopefully we'll do maybe another talk about Ayala's match in the second round or even further.
If she
Thanks
go,
very much.
hope she goes further. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Thank you.